Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. Today we are going to discuss a data structure that is an array. Okay, and in Python we don't basically have an array, we usually call it as list. Why do we call it as list? Because in array what happens, you will have a fixed length, okay, but in a list you will not have a fixed length, you will have a variable length. And array and list both are mutable, so list has the property of an array, but it also has a feature that it is having a variable length, okay. And in Python a list can contain any data type element, okay. So it is not fixed that if we are declaring an array with 1 2 3, then it will only have numbers. It is not fixed, okay. So the features that we have in Python list are that first of all the list will not have a fixed length, then it will be mutable like the other arrays and list, and it can contain any data type element. The data type of the element in the array is not fixed, okay. So this is about the basic concept of the array in Python, okay. Now we will see how can we declare array in different ways, okay. So one way is we can directly declare the array using square brackets, okay. The other one is using list constructor. So in the list constructor what we can do, we can directly assign the array inside the parameters and we will be able to create an array. Or let's say you want to just declare the list as an array, then you can do my list is equals to list, okay. So this will create an empty array for you, and after that you can insert the values, okay. So this is the other type of array. Now we have the list comprehension way, okay. What is list comprehension way? So usually when we are adding values to an array, it will this is getting dynamically added, right? We are not giving some fixed values, we are adding values using a loop, right? So usually what happens when we are adding values, then what we have to do, we will be using for loop, and in that like this we are using for loop, right? And then we have to add the values in our list every time. But when you are using list comprehension, then what happens means in the same in the same square bracket, you can write the for loop, and before means here what we are doing, this is a for loop, okay. And for every condition means for every iteration, the value that is getting inserted is x power 2. So when x is equals to 1, then 1 power 2 will be inserted in the list. Then we will have let's say x will become 2, then 4 will be inserted in the same way till 5 5 power 2 the value will be getting inserted, okay. Now the other way is just using range, okay. So in your list constructor only you can give range and you can insert the values from whatever value you want to insert, okay. Now we can also change the string into list, okay. So how do we do that? In the list constructor, pass the string and you can convert it into a array. Now as told in the like I told here, right, that in the traditional way or the basic way of forming a list is using append method, that when we use for loop, right? So we will be using this append method only, okay. And then only we will form a list. Like here what we have done, this is kind of shortcut, right? So I will run these programs now and I will show how do we use append method in a for loop also, okay. So now let's move on to the code editor. Now let's see the code editor, okay. Now one by one we will try to print each of the list, okay. So first we will print the first list. Now as I said that list is mutable, right? What does mutable basically means? If I am making changes, like I am what I am having here, I am having 1 2 3 4 5, okay. Now let's say I am printing this, okay. And if I make any changes in this list right now, okay, then I don't have to assign that to a new list. It will, the change will be made in that list only. Let's say now I try to add one more value, okay. So what I will do, my list dot append, let's say I add 6 here, okay. So now again we will print the list. first what it was having, the value in the list was 1 2 3 4 5, and after that when I appended a new value, the list got added with 6, and then we can see that we have 6 here, right? So this is the meaning of mutable. Okay, means if you have a mutable data structure, then you can make changes inside the data structure only without having to assign it again to a new variable or to the previous variable only. And now since this is mutable, this gives us a way to insert value, delete value, and we don't have to store it again and again, right? Now let's say we have list here, right? We are using list constructor. Now we will be printing this only. So let's print this, and then let's say I empty the list, then we will see what is happening. Now we were printing this one. Let me change this again. Now I am printing this list, right? I am getting 1 2 3 4 5 6, and after that when I am making the list empty, right? What is happening? I am getting an empty list. Means this list constructor will initialize the um, variable with an empty list. Okay, now let's see this list comprehension. Okay, so what is happening here? Let's print this squared numbers. Now we have list comprehension, right? We will see how it works in the normal way. So we can see that we have 1 4 9 16 25, right? Now in the basic way, when you are not using list comprehension, for the same thing you would have to write for I in range of 1 to 6, and then you would have to append the values. Okay, so let's say I am using new variable called list li. This is also a way to initialize the variable. Okay, so li dot append I, and then I will print I. Now we will run it again. We see that okay, we need to return the multiple value, right? So we will I star I, and we will give some comment here so that we will know the difference. List without comprehension. Now this is using list with comprehension and without comprehension, right? Now the same code that we had written in a line, right? The same code that we had written a line, we were writing two lines for that, right? There is no need of means appending the value every time, when we can just use the loop, and for every variable, means for every iteration, we can simply assign the value to the list, right? Comprehension basically also means that you will be reducing the size, right? Comprehension means in a short way, so we can form the list in this way, in a short way. Okay, so this is how you form a list using list comprehension. Now in the same way, like we can use list with range, and it will print the list with from 1 to 5. Okay, and this is the string, right? Now let's print this string. So I am getting here hello. Okay, so simply you can put the string inside the list constructor, and it will change the string into a string into that, into your array. Okay, now let's say you want to change this string, you have a sentence, entire sentence, and you want to change it into a string, depending on the number of spaces that we have. Okay, okay, let's take a new string, and what we will do, we will have hi, what are you doing? Okay, now I want to change this into a list. So what I can do, I will do li is, I will simply print it. Okay, print string dot split, and we will give the delimiter at which we want to means separate it. Now we see that after each space, this uh, this string is getting split, and every all of them are in a new element, right? Means high is one element, then what is one element. So this is how we can use split also to form a new okay. So now let's see some important methods in array. So first of all we have append method. Okay, it is used to add the value at the end of the array list. Okay, now we have reverse. Okay, so by the name reverse only we can understand that it will reverse the array in opposite way. Okay, now we have clear. Now in the clear what happens means it will only empty your list, means it will clear all the items from your list. It will not delete the list. Okay, the difference between like delete and this clear is clear will only remove the elements from the array. Okay, now we have sort will simply sort your array in a non decreasing order or an ascending order. Okay, now we have pop. What does pop do? Pop will remove the element. It has two ways, right? If you are not using any index position, then it will be removing the topmost value or the like the last value in your array. And if you are giving any specific insert means is specific any index value, then it will remove that value from that index. And then we have count. What does this count do? It will count all the number of elements that are present, and it will return their total number. Okay, then we have insert, right? This insert is used to add the value in an array. You add that at a given index or at a specific index. Okay, now we have copy here. What does copy does? It makes the copy of the array list and stores in a new variable. Then we have extend here, right? So extend, what it does, let's say we have two array and we want to combine it into a single array, right? So if we are using append for that, then what will happen, it will change it into a two-dimensional array. Okay, means we will get one array inside another array, but when you are using extend, it will change it into a flattened array which will be one dimensional only. We will apply that and see how does it work. And then we have remove. Like pop was removing the last element until and unless we gave the index. Remove will remove the first element or with the specific value. Okay, it will remove the first element of the specific value. Now we have index. Okay, now let's say you want to check the index for a given element, then you can pass the value here and you will get the index for that. Okay, now we will see how these are implemented. Okay, so we will move on to the code editor and we will see how these are implemented. So one by one we will print them. Okay, now let's say we have append here, so I will print a here. Now let's run it. For remove also we will get the same error, because here what we are doing, we are clearing the list, right? Then we are if we will try to pop a value from a cleared list, then we will obviously get an error because there are no values inside that. So we will see one by one. Here when we are appending the value, then we are getting 1 2 3 4, right? Now after that, let's try to reverse this. So we will reverse this. So you might be seeing one thing that like the upper code which is not having error, right? Till where we don't have error, till that part our code is getting executed. This is due to an interpreter, okay? So for it will execute till we don't have error, and after we find an error there, after that it will stop, okay? So here we can see we have reversed the value. Now when we are printing this, when we have cleared the value, we will get an empty list. Now again we will have to insert a value, right? So for that, what we will do, we will again reinitialize the array, and then we will see, let's say we have 4 here, okay? Because we need to see how 9 here, we need to see how this gets sorted. So we need to print this, so let's print a. Now we can see that the value has been, like, we have a sorted array, right? Now let's try to pop a value. The whatever now whatever value will be popped, it will be popping from this new array, right, which has been sorted. So after this also we need to print, right? So let's print a again. So we can see that 9 has been removed from here, right? Now after that we will see count. So it will return us the count of the, let's say I have sent 3 here, okay? Now we will try to print this. Let's print this. So we see that we have only 1 3 present in the array, therefore we have returned, it has returned 1 here. Now let's say I want to search for 0 here, then what will happen? I will get 0, right? Since 0 is not present in the array, it will return 0. If I enter 9 here, then again we will get 0, right? So we send the element here for which we need to count in the array, and then it will return the count of that value in the array. Now let's say we want to insert any value in the array. So what we will do, we will give the index and the element that we want to insert. Now let's say I want to insert 3 at second index. Now let's try to print this. So what is happening now? We have this is the index that we want to, okay. So how does this work? We have insert, okay? So the first parameter that it is taking is the index value, and the element that you will be inserting will be in the second parameter, okay? So therefore what is happening, at the third index 0 1 2 3, at the third index 2 is getting inserted, okay? Now let's say I want to insert 2 at the second index only, okay? So what will happen, this 3 will be removed and we will be getting 1 2 2 and 3, okay? What will happen is the value will get inserted at this position, and we will move for that value will be inserted at the second index, and 3 will move on to the third index, okay? That value will not get it deleted, it will simply move one step forward. Now what we have here is um, okay, index value and element value we have. Now let's say I am copying this array into ARR, okay? And if I try to print ARR, I will get the same array. So I am getting the same array that I copied in the ARR. Now let's see extend, okay? Now let's say I have one more 6 0 9. Okay, and I will try to print it. And the same I will be doing with append also. One second. Print a dot append 10, 11, 12. Now we will see the difference between the arrays. Okay, why is it printing now? So the error we were getting was because means we first of all I was trying to print the ARR directly. So what was happening was this array actually gets modified in place. Okay, means whatever changes are made, it is made inside the same array only. That's why when I was trying to like print it directly, it was printing none. Now after means extending the array, when I will print it again, the array will print, it will print the array. So I will get 1 2 2 3, and again since I am print, one was the copy and one was real array, so I am getting the same value. Now in the same way, if I will print append also, it will work. Print a. So the difference you can see here, right? When we were trying to extend, it changed. It was in a returned the value in a single dimensional array. But here in append, when we are appending an array, it is inserting the array in a total way, right? It is not extending it. So this is the difference between append and extend. Okay. Now let's say I want to remove a value. I want to remove 2 from here. Okay. So let's print it again now. We'll print a. So you can see that in the previous a that we printed, we had 1 2 2 3, but here we are getting 1 2 3. So what does remove do? It will remove the first occurrence of the element. Now we have index. So let's print the index here. Let's say I want to print the index of 2. Okay, so I will be getting print. So we will get 1 here, right? Because the index of 2, first index of 2 is 1. Now let's say I want to check for 3. So we are getting here 2. Now let's see if we try to get the index for 10, then what do we get? As you can see, we are getting an error, right? Now if I try to get the index of the entire list, then let's see what we are getting. So we are getting the index value as 3. Now why does this happen? Okay, so when we are trying to find the index value, so this entire array or the entire list is considered as one element only. If you will try to access the index value of 10 or the value inside the list, you will get an error. But when you try to find the index value of the entire list, then you will get the index value of that list. Okay, so I hope all these methods are clear to you, and you will be using like these methods extensively when you will be coding. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please let me know in the comments, and in case you have doubts regarding anything in the array or the methods that we have discussed, please let me know in the comments too. And then if you want to continue with me in this coding journey, please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell notification, so you will be notified every time I post a new video. Thank you for watching.